So, hello everyone. We are on episode three.
Brigade.
Oh no, we didn't talk about it. We think we have a name.
We think so.
We think right now it's called Yass Chef.
Yass Chef.
Like, Yass Chef, but YAS because we're girlies. At the end of the day, we are girlies.
We are girlies.
Oh, this is playing my voice. I'm like, I can hear myself. There we go. That was trippy. I was like, I'm hearing myself in real time right now. Okay. Sorry about that.
Well, first of all, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to the show, to Yass Chef, episode 3. We are now filming this one, so...
It's baby steps. We started with the audio, and now we got audio and video.
So, what was this third episode called?
Brigade. Yes.
It was. Yes, because this is where the brigade starts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you just want to start into it? Is there any other pre announcements that you need to share?
I don't think so.
And we're recording this. It's if you're wondering where you can watch the video, it's going to be on YouTube. And then the recordings are going to be hopefully on Spotify and Apple.
All right, deal.
That's my hope.
Hey.
I know someone who at least posted 2 episodes.
Yeah.
They just gave up. That's why I wanted to pre-record 4, because I'm like, we won't give up. We will get the tension going.
Yes.
You and I are also both motivated people, so
yes,
this should be fun. So, my notes were, the exact note that I have is the woman speaking. I'm actually so distracted because she reminds me so much of my mom, down to her eyebrows, the crystal necklace, the way her hair is, her outfit. Just, she looks like my mom. So I just need, if anyone listening knows Eileen Hearn, I just need you to go to The Bear, season 1, episode 3, and go to minute 2. And I'm going to put it on the YouTube. I'm going to put a side-by-side picture of the 2 of them. And just, like, the fact that she was at a support group, crying, my mom was, a group therapy leader.
Oh.
And she, does it for people who have lost suicide. All the time. She's always a group leader. So I'm like, it's giving Eileen.
It was that.
Yes. It's giving
that's
Eileen.
What it was.
In capital letters says she talks like her.
Yeah.
This, how she, enunciates in her trauma. And then it goes from that very, him being somber at the meeting to a literal split screen, and they're screaming in the kitchen.
So that's the one note that I made, is because it was the sound transitions that happen.
Yes, I saw your sound transitions.
Oh my god, yeah, because it is that, you just notice, and it gives you a little bit of okay, we're ready to move on to the next thing, because it went from him just being completely quiet to just straight up yelling, but it's muted yelling, and then just straight up he's back into it, and they're just yelling at each other in service.
Yes, it's so good. They're very
so
high.
Chaotic.
The directing in this is very highs and lows. I don't know if it was this episode or a different episode, but there was one episode where music was playing and Cindy just goes and turns it off, but it turned it off it was background noise in the video, but then it brought it in when she turns it off.
Yeah.
I think that must be in this episode, because I don't remember talking about it. Yeah, but that reminds me, because there's no music allowed backstage because you have to focus. So I'm but I also worked at establishments kind of like The Bear, where it's there is this music playing in the background while they're cooking. So very the 2 differences between those 2 worlds, the non brigade world and the brigade. Yeah. Yes. So when Carmi is sitting in when he's sitting in the office, he's holding a support group in alcoholic family, and the one page that they stopped on and let the camera sit on were the do's and don'ts of how to feel.
Yeah.
And after a suicide, and I said, guys, the amount of pamphlets that I have gotten, just like that. It was just
be kind to yourself.
Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. It wasn't them talking. It was their alcohol. My dad wasn't that, but just loss of suicide in general. I could see that he's struggling and really blaming himself for not going to the funeral.
Yeah.
Now that you point it out, it is such a sore thumb. I'm damn, he really didn't go.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So the next part is about our man. This is gonna be an I Love Marcus episode. The next 2 episodes, if I'm being honest.
Marcus, like his character development from the start to the beginning to like where he just, it's just so good.
It reminds me of like how he talks about pastry is how I talk about pastry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is how when I'm talking about pastry, I feel like people aren't listening to me. I'm like, this is what I'm saying, but people are listening to him.
And you know what? Like this also is the start. Like basically when he has his pictures up on the wall of all of Carmi's stuff, and then Carmi comes to the back and he's like, whoa, like, you know, this is all my stuff like up here on the wall. And Marcus is genuinely just interested, and Carmi invites that 100%. And it's just, it's not like talking down to it all. It's not like, oh, you don't get it. He just goes into just talking about it and was like, you know, there's this like sweet wine that you have to like reduce into this like sugary glaze, doing that, and then the Geely and like stuff like that. And it's just like maybe Marcus doesn't know about this, but he's interested. He wants to know, like, you know, and this is the start of it, like that attitude towards new things and everything. It just
and how he had all the pictures put up. I was gonna say, I love Carmi's ramble about how he built the plate of dessert, because I know that hatred, because I hate plated desserts. Same. There are plated dessert girlies and there are not plated dessert girlies. I am not built like that. And you can tell that Carmi, since he's restaurant line service trained, is a plated dessert girly. Yeah. And you can tell that Marcus is gonna be. Yeah. Like he likes the components and he likes the texture and the crunch and the so like people who are plated desserts, they're very into flavored textures and how it all works on the page, but then our plate, but then it also has to all look consistent. So I just like how Carmi was like, you don't understand, because that's I think what I don't like about plated desserts. You put so much work into one plate and people are like, oh cool, a cheesecake. I'm like,
and then just dig into it, or they're like, oh, it's so pretty, I don't want to eat it, and stuff like you can make things look nice while still being like practical and everything. Like I feel like sometimes it comes to the point where it's like it's not practical. The dessert is not very practical, and like that's just it. Like yes, it's cool, it's pretty, it's contemporary, whatever, but it's like, you know, Carmi talking about how it took 2 hours to do the one component and it took 12 people to plate it or something like that. Like that's absurd. Think about the labor costs. Like please.
That's so funny. And then they're talking about this plate of dessert, and he's like, it took us like months and months and months to, and then like Sydney over her shoulder is like, feel fat. I'm like, yeah, correct. And of course my girl knows. But yeah, I just love how she was just like, yes, feel fat. And whether she either like learned about that story through like a magazine about that time, or she just knew what the answer was. I love both. I said, as a woman, we don't like the system. Basically, so Carmi pulls Cindy into the office and is talking about how he wants to do a system and wants to have like a full brigade and wants to have, you know, like CDC, like the traditional line cook. Yep. And she's like, oh, no, I don't want to do that, because he's going to be the CDC. So like a lot of times they're doing like the behind the scenes work that no one's seeing, and like, the rest of them are all on the line. And obviously like Sydney, I think I noted when she was like starting to take over the brigade system and starting to talk to everybody after they got their aprons and stuff, it's like her and the way that she talks is how I have to type out emails or like text and stuff and then rewrite it, because I think I'm being too soft, or I need to like unlearn that.
Hello YouTube people who are watching on YouTube. It is the night before. I am editing the podcast. So Julie's phone ran out of storage. So we gotcha. The first episode is only half on video. The rest of it will just be audio from here on out. So sorry about that.
That program in my head, because she's
you'll
going
like the Barbie movie.
I'm trying. But she goes, you know, she says stuff like, all I can think of, this isn't this part, but it's like later when she's talking to Carmi, and she goes, and then like, you know, you kind of left, but it's like, oh no, you did leave. It's not kind of, you did. And it's like, it's that little like, hey, if it's not a bother, but it's like, no, can you do this? Like, you can just say that, you know, you don't have to add in those little soft embellishments to make it the message like digestible or something. Like, you can just say what you need to say and like get it out. And I think that's something that like, obviously, like coming into a role of leadership like that, when you're not used to that and you don't like confrontation, it's hard. Yes. It's fucking hard.
And like her delivery of like how she says everything is so realistic. Like, she's just such a good actress.
She is. The way she's like stumbling over her words and stuff, you're like, she's there and she's stressed. Like,
you could tell.
Yeah.
The next note I have is when Cousin comes in and Carney's talking about how it's Escoffier. And he goes, he says Escoffier, and I just think that's funny. I was just like, that's just like funny writing. And that's something he would say. Like,
it is.
It's so funny.
It is. God, Richie pisses me off so much.
And I said, Sydney's so terrified to start the French Brigade, and girl, I don't blame her.
Not at all.
I don't blame her at all.
Not at all.
Especially for people who've been working at that establishment for so long, they're not going to listen to a new girl.
No.
Because, like, at least Carmi, they're like, well, at least it's Michael's, like, brother. Nope, they have no...
She's just, like, brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is something I noticed when she goes to start the brigade, and she's standing at family meal, and she's handing out rolls. It's the same rolls that they have in season 2. Like, the brigade that they start is, like, this, like, Tina's still the same thing. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
like, the rolls that she hands out are very continuous into season 2, which is very cool.
Mm-hmm. This is the episode where she finally goes on, like, the little rant to, I don't remember his name, but he's the guy that's, like, he cleans and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and she goes, like, yeah, like, this is just, I love this part. She goes, like, you know, you're really good at, like, wiping down the counters and stuff like that, but can we get the same energy on the floors because they're disgusting? I want to throw up looking at it. Like, what's going on? And I'm just like, stop, because, like, that's the best way to address something.
And that is how people address it in the kitchen. Like, they're like, that's actually fun. And then it makes you feel bad.
Yes.
You're like, oh, no.
Because it's all the same. Like, it's you're doing great, but also this is shitty, so, like, can you just do better? Like,
yeah. So this is the part where, like, Sugar's very upset that Carmi didn't go to the funeral.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, it was probably because he was the CDC in New York, and if he took off time, like, he would have lost his career. And, like, I feel like that's also not, like, this industry is hard, and you don't get benefits. And, like, sometimes, like, if you leave, like, you're like, it's like you're leaving the team behind, but it's like, no, actually my brother killed himself.
That's
We're back, baby.
Baby.
To you guys, it seems like no time has passed. To us, a lot of time has passed.
It was troubleshooting moments.
It was okay. We're good now.
But, yeah, anytime you want to take time off in the food industry, it is just this whole big thing because, you know, like, missing a day of a desk job of work, it's like you'll just, you know, work a little bit harder the next day and get back to it. But it's like you miss a day of production. We talked about this, like, one of the last episodes about class. But it's like real time in, like, work mode. It's hard to come back from. And it's, like, also hard to just remind yourself that, like, hey, you do have a personal life and you can attend to that. You can care for yourself. Like, you know, self-care is just something that's people struggle with heavily in the food industry because it's just like you don't want to miss out. You know?
Exactly. So that's why I feel like that's an aspect that people might not get. They might be like, he didn't go to his brother's funeral. It's like, well, he might have just, like, had, like, I don't know, it's like couldn't take time off work. Or a mixture of both. It was a good excuse.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, sorry, I had to be at work.
Far away from my legs. That's what happened. I adjusted my legs last time and pulled out all the cords and then could not get it. Just needed to restart my computer.
Oh, God.
The next comment I have is I just love how the B-roll has audio. Like, it's like you can hear the L going around and, like, it's just, like, beautiful. And it, like, really brings you in.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like there's a different director for season 2. And I feel like he does not give the Chicago twists like season 1. Like, season 1, I'm like...
Like, hearing the tracks run and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the next part is when Sydney is... she's, like, starting to now lead the kitchen. But she walks into the fridge to take a breath. Yeah. When she walks in the freezer and goes... Not the part when she drops it.
Oh, no.
But she needs a moment. This needs a moment.
She, like, goes into, like, obviously to anybody outside, it's like she just went into the fridge to, like, look at the fridge. But she goes into the fridge just, like, and then walks out.
The fridge,
like, okay,
I don't know how to explain to people, but, like, it's not even something that's taught, but the fridge is somewhere you go
the
when you need a break.
Is sacred.
The walk-in is very sacred, and
I just remember in class, like, there was only a few chefs that I maybe got so frustrated with, and that was just the place where it's like, obviously to their face you can just, okay, and then you have to just walk away and, like, mind your business, but you just go into the walk-in. You go into the walk-in to cry, you go into the walk-in to yell, you go into the walk-in if you need a break. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the panic room. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just the take a break room.
And yeah, this is also when Carmi starts to, like, treat Sydney like a Sue.
Yeah.
And not like a friend. Yep. And, like, you can see, like, the, like, distinct change of, like, oh, But, like, and you, like, watching, you're like, oh, they're not friends anymore. He's like, no, I want you to grow.
Yeah.
And, like, really in the culinary industry, they're trying to stray away from it now. But, like, it's really, like, you want to move up, well, I'm going to be mean to you to make you better. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we don't have to be mean.
Right. Yeah, the whole, like, paying your dues thing. So there's, like, a part of it where he is just, like, you know, where are the onions? Like, the onions need to get done or something, and really it was someone else's task, but he's just, like, cut and dry, plain and simple. I don't care what the fuck's going on, you need to do the onions. And she's like, okay, does it? But then as, like, a hazing thing, the people in the kitchen, like, took the onions and, like, hid them and stuff. And when they finally bring it back, everyone's so, haha, like, oh my gosh, it was a joke and everything. But it's like, seriously, don't fuck with me. Don't do that shit again. Oh my god.
Similar vein of how she reacts to my next note of when she goes to grab something on a sheet tray.
Yeah.
And there's the box cutter and it cuts her.
Yeah, yeah.
I have reached into the sink at school and felt a knife.
Yep.
And gone 8-chip crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I know we're our sophomore year and one of you bitches did not just leave a knife in the sink.
Yeah.
Disrespectful. Rude. I'm not cleaning your knife.
No.
So, like,
unsafe.
Unsafe, number one. But it's just like, yeah, no, how she reacted. She's like, I don't know. Just the word she said was very, I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So this is the next part. I did say this a little earlier, but Sydney's just trying to explain herself, and the chefs, like, don't care.
No.
Like, if you do something and you get caught for it, you just take the blame. And, like, if you try to speak up, being like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, you have to learn not to take it personally. Like, the only way to survive is to not take it personally.
Right. Sadly, you know?
Yes, very sadly.
It's hard.
Oh, I love when she is cutting the onions, though, and the music happens, where, like, you can just tell she's in the groove. And, like, when you're doing a task, you have to do a lot, like, this next part is more of a Marita story about when Sugar calls, and she's like, just thinking about you, it's his birthday today. When you lose someone in that first year, every, like, birthday, anniversary, small thing is just, like, the worst day, which, like, it explains his behavior, but, like, no one... You know that as a viewer, but no one else in the kitchen knows that, like, it was Michael's birthday. Or, like, maybe cousin knew because they were friends. Yeah. But, like, guys, I feel like don't know each other's birthdays.
No. Yeah. And then it's like, yeah.
But, yeah. I say, yeah, Carmi going to Lake Michigan on Michael's birthday is giving my family going to Lake Michigan on that anniversary.
Yeah.
At 6, that's another thing. We went to go dump his ashes at sunrise in October. Hey guys, Chicago's not warm, especially at 6 in the fucking... We were, like, in, like, big ass blankets. I was 13 at the time, just, like, going to sprinkle his ashes because my dad wanted a Viking wedding. Nope, funeral. Oh god. My dad wanted a Viking funeral. Obviously, we didn't do that, so we... At 6 in the morning in Lake Michigan, we poured his ashes into the water and then shot fireworks at it to be, like, burning out at sea. So yeah, Carmi being at Lake Michigan, I said, I've been there and I've done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so personal. But I think that's a good recap. So yeah, this episode was really about creating the brigade. I feel like we also don't have a lot to talk about because, like, I've never actually worked on a line. In pastry, you don't really. No, yeah. I've done the brigade, like, serving before, but I haven't worked on a line like that. Yeah. I haven't worked on a brigade line. Yeah. But it, like, I mean, in sense and in theory, I understand, like, her not wanting to implement it and stuff, but really, like, them actually implementing it was very smart because it is just, like, there's like, this that needs to get done, and I'm very much, like, an organized mind person, so it's, like, pulling all of those tasks and giving it to the people that are the best at it, then it's, like, great. It does make things flow a lot better. It encourages you to work, but it's also, like, it's just not good for your mental health, but, like, you have to realize, like, you just have to do it. Yeah. That's the key to success, and it's, like, everyone needs to pull their weight. Yeah. That's just it. Yeah. So, God. Okay. Episode 3. Brigade. What's up? All right. I think that's it, guys. And thank you for tuning in. Yass, Chef? Yass, Chef? Question mark? Period? We'll see. Okay. All right. We'll film episode 4 next. Fun. Okay.